Hello, everyone. It is me. It's been a long time. I'm finally getting some new material. If you're not familiar, I'm Core Reviews, and I have this blogging review site where I like to review different anime, manga, and video games. Lately, I have been doing a lot of indie video games and manga, which I love because it's actually really cool that I have indie or independent artists that reach out to me and they're like, hey, do you want to play this or you want to read this? And I would love your thoughts on it. And that is really cool to me because initially I started my blog just to kind of like just really to kind of ramble about stuff, shows that I liked and everything. So it's actually pretty cool that some people read it and they're like, yeah, I like what she's saying. Let me pitch my art. So but yeah, so I am back with another game. This one was sent to me from GSE Studios, or Gwen, I believe. She is, or they are on, apparently they follow me on Twitter. So they sent me this game and they were like, yeah, I see that you also did a review on Bell Automata, and which, if you aren't familiar, that is a very amazingly done kind of sci-fi sort of romance story, visual novel that I really did enjoy. And yeah, they were just like, yeah, I saw that you did that and I just thought you'd be interested in my game, which there's very little games I'm interested in, especially if it's a visual novel. I'm gonna eat it up. So but yeah, they reached out to me and they were just like, yeah, here is my game, just want to know your thoughts and stuff. So I was like, cool, all right. And it's called Keeprs of Astraela. I think I'm saying it right. Astralea. I could be butchering it. I do apologize. And it's by GSE Studios, and which stands for Games, Stories, Entertainment. They're a small indie studio, and they like to make awesome visual novel titles for women, which is great because I identify as a woman, so this game's supposed to be for me then. And so the demo is on Steam and itch. So I decided I'm going to just play some of it and we'll just see how it is. I went on the Steam page. If you go, it describes Keeprs of Astraela as a dark fantasy otome visual novel that follows a writer whose characters come to life. Join Eva as she fights against forces of darkness, flirts with a fiery man, and consumes all the coffee she can find. And it was released on yesterday, actually. I'm a day late. I apologize. But yeah, so I'm excited. A lot of things draw me into this game, specifically the visual novel is based or follows a writer whose characters come to life. I am an aspiring writer. And so therefore I kind of already connect with the game. And then it also looks like that from just some of the characters, I do see we got a person of color, a black girl, yay. And he's cute. he's cute over here too. So yeah, we're just gonna play this, see how it goes. And yeah, I always love visual novels that are female. There's a female protagonist, because I don't know. I don't connect that much with games with the male protagonist, but I'll play them. I found some really nice ones and I'll play them. But I really love when there's a good, strong woman, female protagonist. So we're gonna play that, and yeah. So yeah, let's get started. This is Keeprs of Astraela. And again, I apologize if I'm butchering this. So we're just gonna start. Before I start, I did go into preferences. I do this like with every game before I start, just to kind of see what like the options are. So I went to preference, and I saw this. So I guess you can like choose with the characters how you want their relationships to be. So you can either just have it like it's romance, or you can just do friendship. I'm gonna keep it for romance for both, just to jazz things up a little bit. Core Reviews is very inclusive. We like and celebrate all. So and then everything else I pretty much would just leave, because yeah, I don't want to. I'll just keep it default. I don't want to mess with anything. All right, so let's get started. First off the bat, I love the visuals already, and it kind of reminds me of like the mobile game. As a visual novel fan, I'm assuming a lot of you have played the mobile app Choices, or what's the other one? I forget the other one what it's called, but it's just as funny and messy. But the visuals remind me of that, where it has like that kind of 3D realistic looking character. But yeah, so and you'll have to forgive me. I like to like just kind of put my input on things and just say stuff. So yeah. All right. Some days make you feel like you're on top of the world. Others hit you like 9 hardcover novels to the face. Literally. One moment, I've ensured perfect balance on a rickety folding chair in the Havenwood Public Library study room to find gravity itself as I pull a series of fantasy novels from the highest shelf. The next, all 9 volumes flew at my face, and before I knew it, I'm tumbling to the ground with a thud. As I lay sprawled on the ground with my favorite childhood books splayed around my head, I meet the concerned gaze of a 10-year-old boy hovering over me. I want to tell him the novels are enchanted by the malicious wizard in their pages, or perhaps I can blame the fumble on klutzy genes and a fair amount of bad luck. Anything to cover up the embarrassing truth of dropping the stack while lost in a vivid daydream. Miss Hale. The boy puts his hands on his knees as he bends down to examine my non-existent wounds. Are you all right? Should I call an ambulance? No. I sit up frantically and wince at the sharp pain sparking from my tailbone. Hold on. I might have to change the font size. I love the font, but it's kind of like messing with my eyes a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's kind of better. All right, I sit up frantically and wince at the sharp pain sparking from my tailbone. I just got woozy, that's all. Turning to face the disaster of half-opened books, I shove each one into the boy's cardboard box before handing it back to him. He blinks in surprise at the weight in his hands. Isn't that kind of serious? The way he stares into my soul tells me he won't give up on the subject anytime soon. In fact, he's certain to return in 2 months, buried in late fees that he'll attempt to pay off with the last 2 quarters from his allowance, and question my well-being again while I override the computer so he can return the books at no cost. It's an eternal merry-go-round of debt and bartering, but one I can't help but forgive. I rack my brain for an excuse. Just a blood sugar thing, nothing to worry about. For a moment, I'm convinced the young boy will stare me down until the library closes. His eyes laser into mine intently for the longest time before he nods, seemingly satisfied with the fibbed response. After looking back down at his latest literary treasure trove with a sparkling grin, he spins around and jaunts toward the circulation desk with a box almost bigger than himself. I can't help but chuckle. The hushed tones of the library return as I stand, patting down my head to catch the flyaways that slipped from my French twist in the fall. I tuck the stands, maybe it's supposed to be strands, behind my ear and pray no one will notice before I can scurry to the bathroom and secure them once more. Trudging back down the aisle, I return to where I abandoned my library cart to help the boy retrieve his desired books. A stack of brand new editions stare back, taunting me with their new book smell and unbent dust jackets. It's been months since we've gotten clearance to buy a shipment this large, but while the thought of fresh reading material fills me with excitement, the task of putting each volume on the shelf is far from my cup of tea. Not right now, nor this morning, and certainly not the entire past week, which is why 2 carts have remained behind the circulation desk until the last possible moment, untouched and collecting dust. Mindless shelving makes me sneer on a good day, let alone when I'd much rather be doing something else. And on a good day, with my brain working in proper order, I would have heard footsteps approaching as I grabbed the cart handle. Jensen. Okay, Jensen. Like Jensen Ackles. Okay, I can get behind that. Supernatural friends. Hello. A blood sugar thing. The teasing voice nearly jolts me out of my skin. I whip around to find myself staring up at a tall man whose arms are crammed with 2 cups of coffee and a box of fresh donut holes. His hazel eyes brim with mischief. Looks like I brought the right stuff. He nods to the pastry box, balanced precariously between his elbow and chest. Good Lord, Jensen. I smack his arm. Don't give me a heart attack, not unless you want to put these books away after my funeral. He wrinkles his nose. Yeah, no, I've still got the second cart to label. Then I'd suggest you get to it. Oh, I yank the cart's handle, filling the once still air with its incessant squeaky wheels. A clattering noise brings my gaze down to find the metal folding chair blocking my path. Don't tell me you were standing on that death trap. Jensen kicks the chair aside. One of us almost snapping their necks on that thing is enough. The thought of his similar spill makes me grimace. He hadn't been working at the library for more than a week when the head librarian shipped him off to the romance nook to fix an overhead lamp, assuring me it was a simple enough task for him to accomplish by himself. 5 minutes later, the entire place heard him take flight, slam full force into a shelf, and bring dozens of harlequins crashing down on him. Harlequins, yeah. I try to shake the memory. How did you not break your neck? I drink my milk. Jensen lifts a smaller coffee cup to his lips to conceal a devilish grin. Good for you. At least all I'm walking away with is a sore tailbone and a bruised ego. You could have used a step ladder from the maintenance room. 6 months working together and you expect me to drag my butt to the other end of the building? I think not. When I back my cart past him, his broad shoulders shake in a silent laugh. I shake my head, twisting the cart around and pushing it out of the study room, only to hear the soft padding of his footsteps not far behind. Aside from the sound of our shoes tapping the carpet and the rhythmic squeal of the ancient book cart, the library is near silent. On the average evening, small groups from the local church would be sipping coffee in the back conference room, or a handful of teenagers would mill about to chat with their study pals in hushed voices. Or my personal favorite, the occasional lost husband asking for computer access while his wife peruses the romance section, sneaking another chapter of 50 Shades of Grey from behind the tallest bookshelf. People watching has become my favorite pastime in my years at the library, and the calm atmosphere, the hushed tones, and ample creativity boosting scenarios from patrons create the perfect setting for a writer's brain to thrive. That's funny, because I also love people watching. And I used to think it was because I was a sociology major and I'm always just like interested in why people do things that they do. But I think it's also because I do enjoy writing, and people watching helps me to like build my imagination and come up with characters and all that fun stuff. Behind the circulation desk, it's too easy to pull open a document and spend slower days lost in my imagination, enabling me to spawn 4 self-published novels, with the final one waiting to be finished. The only distraction hindering me from writing at an even quicker pace saunters past me to kick open the swinging door of the circulation desk, holding it open with one leg for me to push the cart through. Jensen is the surprise I didn't think I wanted, but never knew just how much I needed. They were out of pumpkin spice. He sets his arm full of coffee and baked goods between our computers. Hopefully, a French vanilla cappuccino will suffice. I'll drink motor oil if you add enough dirty beans to it. I grab my cup the moment it hits the desk and take a careful sip. Sweet notes of vanilla meld with the bitter drink and light my brain with caffeine-induced pleasure. Making myself at home in my rolling computer chair, I allow myself to be fully indulged in the large cup of heaven. With my favorite beverage in hand, the blissful silence envelops me until I'm lost in its calming grasp. Dead Man Walking, the ultimate guide to the necromantic world? If I hadn't drained 3 cups of coffee this morning, Jensen's words would have woken me in a flash. I swivel my chair to find him bent over a second book cart, leafing through a leather-bound book. Impish curiosity flashes across his eyes. Pushing my feet off the Berber carpet, I propel my chair across the floor and snatch the book from his hands. That one wasn't meant for the cart. I peek down at the page he left off on. You picked a good chapter, though. I hear Circle Consecration is a fascinating read. Jensen waggles his eyebrows. I thought these books were for the library. They are. I set the book cover down beside my keyboard and away from his prying eyes. I'm just reserving it first. A dry laugh leaves his lips as he plops into his own office chair. He reaches for the box of donut holes and pops open the flap. At least I know this is for book research and not my untimely demise. He retrieves 2 cinnamon sugar pastries from their cardboard prison. After this morning, I figured I should bring coffee as a peace offering, just in case. I quirk a brow as he shoves the donut holes in his mouth. What are you talking about? Mouth too full to speak, he rolls his chair close enough to shake my computer mouse. The screen wakes to a sketchy form, and the title, written in bold at the top of the page, makes my heart leap into my throat. How to Commit Murder with Toothpicks. Jensen swallows his mouthful and laughs. With a grin dancing wide across his lips, he leans in close enough for his musky cologne to overpower my senses. You might want to close out your tabs when you walk away. And you might want to quit snooping before I use my research on you. The sound of another person clearing their throat brings my widening eyes to the other side of the circulation desk, where a pregnant, middle-aged woman stands with her daughter. An entertained smile flickers across the 13-year-old's lips as she slides 2 paperbacks across the counter. Jade! I put on my bravest face and brightest, most innocent voice before turning to the girl's mother. Miss Singer, good to see you again. After elbowing Jensen in the ribs to make him slide away, I grabbed the books from the counter and flipped them over. Their worn covers send excitement coursing through my veins. We finished your latest book last night. It's wonderful to have such a creative author right here in Haven. Does Emrys ever become canon? Jade's interruption brings warmth back to my cheeks, spreading quickly to my ears until I'm sure my entire head is consumed in a ball of flame. A soft laugh from Jensen brings no comfort, and when I fire a pointed glare in his direction, he quickly averts his eyes to his snack. When I turn back around, Jade has leaned so far over the counter that I'm sure the raven-haired girl will fling herself across it in a frenzy for answers. Come on. Jade's dark eyes widen with excitement. I won't tell anyone. It's gotta happen soon, right? Jensen mutters under his breath, just low enough for me to hear. They've only had sexual tension for 4 books. Everyone around me must be able to feel the heat radiating from my skin as I swallow down my mortification. It's these moments when I wish I could fake a computer crash and call in the head librarian to fix the issue while I hide in the break room clutching the cappuccino to my chest. That excuse came to a halt 3 months ago when I took over as Mrs. Prescott's second in command. She won't take kindly to my excuses. A writer never reveals her secrets. My voice comes out in a much higher tone than I expect. You'll find out how Thana and Emrys' stories end when the last book comes out. It'll actually answer everything, like everything. I rubbed the back of my neck. The only thing's worse than my coworker whining about my character's lack of intimacy is a theory-loving kid full of questions. What do you mean? I avert my eyes to check the books back into the system. Jade scrunches up her nose. Some of it just doesn't match up. Like Thana's friend, Amaya, she's been popping in and out of every book, and we still don't know what she is or why she's there. And if Emrys is a phoenix, why can't Thana touch him? Is he, like, immortal? As I struggle to untie the knot constricting my tongue, Mrs. Singer passes me an apologetic smile, but the squeaking of Jensen's chair only furthers my desire to disappear from the conversation. He leans against the desk to rummage through his donut box again with a knowing grin. You'll be more than satisfied. Eva's got an incredible ending on her hands. With toothpicks. One swift kick to the shin makes him wince. He shoves the food in his mouth and glowers at me, but doesn't press the subject further. Thankfully, when I turn my attention back to our patrons, the young girl has backed away from the counter with slightly less skepticism in her eyes. Mrs. Singer pats her daughter's shoulder. See, you'll find out the ending soon enough. If she ever puts the book out. Please, Miss Hale, try to finish it before my baby sister steals all the attention. After a stern glare from her mother, the girl straightens her posture and looks down at the floor. Mrs. Singer mouths a quick, "I'm sorry" to us before we exchange goodbyes. Her sympathetic eyes linger in my memory even after they scurry off toward the study room. The room relapses into hushed tones, silent except for Jensen sipping his coffee. I try to ignore him staring at my reddened face while I finish checking my novels into the computer. When I set the books off to the side, my eyes linger on the covers, bent and cracked from use. I take it the ending isn't going well? Bringing my fingers to my temples, I massage them slowly to ease their dull throb. If by not going well, you mean me slamming my head against the keyboard hoping it'll produce something better than I've written, then yes, I don't think it's going well. Kinda wonder why you needed that spell book over there. Jensen nods to the textbook beside my keyboard. Need to revive dead inspiration? I try not to laugh, but his amusement over his own joke is hard to resist. I wish it was that simple. Jensen pats me on the shoulder. He sneaks a sideways peek into his pastry box, and after brief hesitation, holds it out to offer the last 2 donut holes. I shake my head, and he plucks them out for himself. You're a brilliant writer. I know you'll figure it out. And when you do, I'll be first in line to see how it plays out. Maybe tonight's D&D session will do the trick. Jensen's eyebrows shoot up. For months, he's been avidly asking about the Dungeons and Dragons nights I share with my friends, and every week it's become harder to resist asking him to join the party. But overwhelming him with a long-running campaign was the last thing I wanted to do. Tonight, however, we begin fresh with a new game, a new story, one based in a fictional world he's read through my books. Why don't you join us? His smile turns bashful, and a tinge of red comes to his cheeks. It sounds like fun, but I wouldn't even know where to start. Let it go. Urge him to join. Alright, so in my past choice focused games. I would always try to do the opposite of what I myself personally would do, but now I'm going to do the opposite of that and do what I would do if it was me in the game. So basically I'm just going to play like normal. So we are going to definitely urge him to join because he's fine. He's Jensen and he is fine. We want Jensen Ackles. We want Dean to join our game. Would Dean join our game? Probably not, but we want Dean to join our game. Urge him to join. Oh, come on. I nudge him with my elbow. Let your dungeon master show you the ropes. We can create your character together and go over the basics. You know Bobby will help you learn anything on the fly. Jensen laughs at the mention of my longtime best friend. A mixture of sass and sunshine, Bobby has managed to worm her way into his introverted heart. For a man who kept to himself, never mentioning a night out or even friends to spend one with, he could talk to her for hours on runs to her coffee shop, and it often made him late returning from lunch breaks, or more accurately, donut breaks. I'll think about it. Okay, all right, Jensen. You know you don't have no friends. Just come play Dungeons and Dragons. He folds his arms, seeming to mull over the invitation. You know, hitting the basics now would make the rest of our shift go faster. You know what else would do that? He raises an eyebrow. Labeling that second book cart. Jensen throws his empty pastry box into the trash can with a huff, but I still see the laugh hidden behind his faux annoyance. With a playful push on my shoulder, he makes his way back to the cart, careful not to touch the necromantic tome on his way. The rest of our day is quiet. The library's pace slows to a crawl that allows us to fill the remainder of our day with soft chatter and social media scrolling. I watch the clock with an agonized stare. Only a few more hours. Hello. Okay. All right. Callie? I think it says Callie. Flying monkeys. Callie's face scrunches in question. I ignore my best friend's bewilderment, bobbing my head at an alarming rate as I peer over her shoulder. We've been positioned this way in my apartment for the better part of an hour, with Callie hunched over the printed document while I practically perch on her shoulder like an eager parrot. Except it's felt more like a century, maybe even 2 centuries, while I wait not so patiently for my most trusted beta reader to finish the ending of my latest literary masterpiece. It adds the perfect touch. I leave my spot for the comfort of the neighboring armchair. It's unexpected. When the undead monkeys attack, the guild will have no choice but to side with the necromancers and save Astralia. Callie blinks, her tired eyes unfocused while they search my expression. It's like she's trying to figure out the punchline of a joke I haven't told, and suddenly my smile feels much heavier. Eva. She drums her fingers on the arm of her chair. I get where you're coming from. I do. You want to catch your readers off guard, but doesn't this idea seem a little out there? Her fingers thud harder against the wood and her gaze falters, but the silly smile stays plastered across my lips. I wait expectantly for affirmation to follow her gentle criticism. Seconds tick by in awkward silence. My facade crumbles. Shifting uncomfortably in my seat, I straighten my posture and fight the downturning of my lips. The attempt is in vain, however, and the smile finally falls. Callie leans forward to put a hand on my knee. It's not bad. I just think it could use a little. It's terrible. Standing, I let her hand slip from my knee. I rake my fingers through my hair with a long huff. I've tried everything. What kind of writer am I if I can't come up with a decent ending? Another uncomfortable pause drops between us, with me continuously stroking my hair and Callie nipping at the dead skin on her lips. Our eyes avert to the floor, the wall, the collection of pop culture knickknacks scattered along the shelves of a nearby bookcase. anything but each other. I swipe at my wandering eyes. If it wasn't for the company sitting across from me and the promise of another friend joining us at any moment, I would race to my room for solitude. The recliner squeaks as Callie stands, placing a gentle hand on my shoulder. You have a gift. Her voice has dropped to a softer, more encouraging tone. You'll get this book finished eventually, but you can't settle for any ending that comes along. It has to be the right fit. And what's that? Because I'd really like to know. That's up to you to find. But building up a 5-book war between light and dark and ending it with a peaceful handshake over flying monkeys isn't the ending you're looking for. She's right, and I know it. Lately, it's felt like every word I type is wrong, and writing one paragraph of presentable material is like pushing against a brick wall. After multiple attempts, the defeat has settled so deep into my bones that I've nearly resigned myself to never finishing the series. A gentle shoulder squeeze brings my gaze back to Callie's eyes, so plagued with concern that their usual blue has faded to a stormy gray. Maybe you need a break. Change the subject. Suggest a coffee break. Let's I'm not a coffee drinker, so let's just change the subject. Yeah, I guess. I reach up and squeeze her hand. Thanks. But as I return to my seat, trying desperately to avoid her all-consuming stare, I find it harder to not run away. Instead, I scour my brain for anything to get the conversation away from myself. So, have you heard anything from your aunt? Callie's body goes rigid, and I already feel bad for bringing it up. She and her family haven't been in contact since she cut off her mother forever ago, even before we met, and we've been friends so long that it's hard to imagine she hasn't always been there. She's never told me much, just that her family is overly reclusive and her relationship with her mother is too strained to reach back out. But a few months back, her long-lost aunt reached out to her. It was the first contact she had with a relative in the years we've known each other. Nothing lately. She doesn't talk much anymore. But she's been in contact with my mom, and if Mom finds out we're talking, that's a mess I don't need on my hands. She's talking to your mom again? Closer than talking. They're practically trapped together right now, ever since my aunt lost her ex-boyfriend. Oh. My heart sinks. I'm so sorry. You said they were in a pretty long-term relationship, right? I can't imagine. She laughs. Don't talk like he's dead. He's just off the grid. She wants me to help her track him down, but he's just, well, you gotta meet him. He's different, not overly bright. I don't really know what she sees in him. She goes on for a while about how much better her aunt could do than her ex until 3 sudden knocks throw us back to reality. I'll get it. Callie pats the arm of my chair and walks hurriedly to the other room. Additional company is a welcome change. It'll offer plenty of distraction from myself, and instead, let us begin a Dungeons and Dragons session that's bound to help me forget my frustrations. Bobby can be heard long before she's seen, from the pleasant trill of her voice to the audible skip in her step that always creates a stir with the tenants below. She always knows how to make her entrance known. Not that many mind, however, not when the kind woman radiates glittering beams of the brightest morning sunlight. Eva! Bobby's sing-song tone carries can't read today. Bobby's sing-song tone carries why can I not say that word? Melodically across the room. Reading is hard. Though my insides were twisted into a tightly wound ball seconds before, her outstretched arms eased my nerves long enough to share the bear hug my best friend deserves. Okay, first of all, Bobby is cute. Bobby is cute. Do we see Bobby? Because Bobby is cute. Hair, I'm not a fan of the hair. I'm not a fan of the hair. But that's okay because everything else kind of compensate. Like, do you see the face? The face? That's like she's a model. She's like a perfect 10. Like that nose, the cheeks, the everything. Oh, yeah, Bobby's my favorite. I don't know, Jensen. You Jensen, you got a little competition. We'll see. We'll see. We stay wrapped up for a moment, swaying back and forth with glee until Bobby disengages and swivels around. Her dark eyes land on the flat grid-lined board atop the coffee table. She bends down to survey the small boxes beneath, where miniature characters, monster figurines, and various campaign materials are organized in perfect rows. Tabletop role-playing games have long been a favorite of ours, and pride swells in my chest at Bobby's approval of the night's setup. She takes an extra long gander at the map lying open on top of the colorful grid. You went all out tonight. I'm impressed. Callie pokes her head over our friend's shoulders for a better look. She learned from the best, Bobs. Bobby swats at her playfully. Of course she did. I trained my up-and-coming game masters well. My nerves calm as I watch them examine the props laid out for the campaign. For the first time tonight, a genuine smile crosses my lips while they theorize about lore and fawn over the hand-painted miniatures of their characters. Even Callie's enthusiasm, usually muted beneath layers of cynicism and sarcastic tone, bubbles over the edge. Is this everyone? Yep, looks like you two have the campaign to yourselves. Hold up. Bobby raises a finger in question. Didn't you invite Jensen? You were just telling me how fascinated he is over the game. Trying to ignore the heat flaring up my neck, I try to avert my eyes, but her all-knowing grin pulls me in like a sailor to her siren song. Bobby's relentless stare is matched with an all-knowing grin. If I didn't know better, I'd swear you're disappointed. Here we go. I thought it'd be fun. I find myself unable to look directly at either of my friends. He's a great guy, but he doesn't seem to have anyone to hang out with when he leaves work. Just thought this would give him some company. Bobby's gaze is searing. As the oldest member of our group, she's been around the block enough times, whether in relationships or most other parts of life, I've yet to experience, and words alone are never enough to fool her. Yet, for some godforsaken reason, I've never stopped trying. What? My blush rises no matter how hard I try to suppress it. When Bobby's grin stretches wider, I know it's all over. Oh, hun, it wasn't just a kind thought, and you know it. I don't know what you're... Don't stand there like you're innocent. Bobby wags a finger in my direction. You two stop by my coffee shop every day without fail. That man knows how to order your perfect brew based on the day, your mood, the phase of the moon. Don't you try to tell me he isn't someone special. I gnaw on my lip until the taste of blood hits my tongue. I quickly glance over to Callie, hoping to find assistance with at least one person in this room, but she only shakes her head and laughs. It's nice to know I can only count on myself in moments of sheer awkwardness. Jensen is a great guy. He's just not my type. Is he really not your type, or is it because his name isn't Emrys? Emrys? Yeah. If my cheeks don't stop trying to burst into flames, I'll be reduced to a steaming puddle before the night is over. Okay. I clap my hands, stepping around my friends to put myself between them and the coffee table. We'd better get this game rolling, or else we'll still be playing when someone knocks at my front door, so soft that I almost don't hear them. I startle, and the girls watch me like I've lost my mind until the knocks begin again. This time they're louder, but much more hesitant. I'll be right back. Hopefully the neighbors are actually complaining about Bobby skipping above their heads. Another knock pounds as I cross the room, and when I open the door just wide enough to see outside, my heart stops. Jensen? He stands in the hallway bearing a bashful smile, a binder pressed against his chest, and a small drawstring bag that makes the familiar click-clack of dice. A toy sword's plastic hilt is tucked under his arm and nearly falls before he can readjust it. He's a nerd. That's so cute. He came prepared. We love that. We love a prepared man. Okay. I hope I'm not late. No, never. You are never late, Jensen. I mean, you are never late, Dean. You can come any time you want to my apartment. Unannounced. Fully clothed. Or not. Up to you. Anyway. I pull the door open wider. Come inside. The moment I glance back into the other room, Callie and Bobby's grins send my heart into a nervous frenzy. This isn't going to end well. While I try to ignore them, the persistence of their stares is overwhelming. I force myself to look away. So, Jensen, did you still need help with your character? Maybe. He tilts his head. I'm not sure. I found this pre-made thing online and I think it's pretty cool. As I lead him into the living room, he greets the girls with a shy wave of his dice bag. I pass them a knowing look. Can you give us a sec? I want to make sure he's ready. The girls smirk at each other and Bobby bites back a laugh. Sure thing. You two enjoy yourselves. I like Bobby. Bobby's got spunk. Bobby's cool. Bobby is cool. With a nudge and a wink, she steers Callie toward the kitchen, but their light-hearted snickers linger. I turn back to Jensen, who seems more nervous without their presence. He fidgets with his dice bag, wrapping and unwrapping the drawstring around his finger as his gaze periodically flicks in the direction the girls went. I pray they've stayed gone and aren't peeking inconspicuously around the counters. I motion to the love seat, and Jensen and I take a seat together. Slowly, he sets his things in his lap and pulls out his binder. Loose pages covered in a rainbow of highlighted text nearly fall from the interior pouches. Oh, this man studied. He studied and he took notes. We love that. Whenever you are I wouldn't say trying to get with someone. When you are invited to something and then you just show that you actually paid attention and you took notes, it's kind of cute. We love that. We love supportive in people in nerd culture. For someone walking in on a moment's notice, he's incredibly prepared. Because he didn't just, come on, Eva. He did not just, was not at home and was like, you know what, let me just show up. He's been plotting. And we stand a plotter. We stand a man with a plan. Still, he flips the dice bag from hand to hand with the rhythmic click-clack. I nod to his binder. What have you created? A spell, person, a goblin. He sets his drawstring bag between us and opens his binder. It takes multiple flips through printed pages of notes and handwritten scribbles before he finds a pre-made character sheet. She's a necromancer, though that might spice things up with your lore. Thought that might spice things up with your lore. I start to laugh, but it takes me a moment to register what he's saying. A necromancer? I mean, it's perfect, but there isn't a class for that in this module. I had to custom build one for my NPCs. As I peer over his shoulder for a better look at his sheet, I recognize the formatting instantly. This is a different tabletop game, Jens. His cheeks flush. I could have sworn I picked the right one. It's okay, we'll build you a new one. Shouldn't be too hard to convert over, may I? I've never done tabletop gaming. It seems like I watched, there was like this one clip that was like going viral, with this one lady explaining, I guess, like role playing and tabletop gaming and campaigns and all that stuff to that one guy that played the Punisher. I don't, I can't, names are not my forte right now, but I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds kind of fun. Like you kind of are with a group of people and then you just like verbally create this whole story, this whole world, these characters. And yeah, I think I want to try it once. I don't know if I would be able to pick up on it. I don't know if I'll struggle with it, but I definitely want to try it. So I just don't know where to start because I've always been confused by Dungeons and Dragons because I was like, okay, so what is, like, I'm more of a, you gotta tell me what the purpose of a game is and then I'll get it. But if you're just like, yeah, play this, then I'm not gonna get it. I even tried to read the Wikipedia, okay, and that didn't help at all. Let's see. Okay, I hold out my hand and he unclips the binder to give me his sheet. As I lean down to open my own binder on the coffee table, I hear him fidgeting with his bag once more. It isn't long before his hands are beside mine at the table, setting down a plethora of dice. They're mostly six-sided, but since I have plenty others to loan out and he's still red-faced from his character sheet era, I say nothing as he begins stacking them nervously in small towers. By the time I've located my notes for my custom-built necromancer class, I realize the sound of his dice is no longer present. I turn to find his hand hovering above his four-tiered tower. A faraway look has taken over his face, and his brow crinkles. Are you okay? Jensen blinks. He looks like he's about to say something, but before any words can come out, he stands. With a hasty sigh, he begins throwing his dice back into the bag. Yeah, He stumbles over his tongue for a moment. I think I had some bad burritos. I really need to go. Do you need to use my bathroom? It's right down the hall. No, please. It's okay. Boo, boo, Jensen, boo, tomato. I'm throwing tomatoes at you right now. Tomato, tomato. I don't like this. He grabs his bag, his binder, and the toy sword that's clattered to the floor in his scramble. I should just go. You guys have fun, okay? Jensen takes off, half sprinting to the door before I can even get off the couch. It feels like my heart is running off with him. I stand, waving his character sheet. I mean, but I thought she just said he wasn't her type. Uh-huh. So now she's lying. I mean, we all knew that, but I didn't expect it to be uncovered so blatantly. Do you want your sheet? I'll get it from you at work. I don't have time to utter a coherent response before he's out the door. My chest feels like it's caving in, and it's all I can do to not follow him. Thankfully, before I have the chance to attempt a chase down, Bobby peeks around the kitchen archway. Her once giddy smile has fallen. What happened? I don't know. I want to say, but the words refuse to leave. I stare at the front door as if it will somehow make Jensen walk back inside, but it doesn't. I guess he's not feeling well. I say finally. I don't believe myself, or Jensen for that matter, but I try to force a smile anyway. Bobby sees through it. She rushes back in with Callie in tow, but when I turn to her, I shake my head before she can offer her usual hug. It's fine, really. Let's start, okay? I sit back down, not giving them a chance to respond while I fan through my pages of notes. Carefully, I tug Jensen's character sheet near the back. I'll work on it later. Maybe on a night with proper preparation and no embarrassment on his end, we'll stay. At least that's what I'll tell myself. From the corner of my eye, I notice Callie and Bobby share a concerned look before seating themselves around the table. as they ready themselves for the game ahead, pulling out their own character sheets and snacks from their bags. I take a deep, calming breath. It's just another story. You're just writing out loud. Surely it can't be much different, since the campaign is tailored around the one story I can tell in a heartbeat, my own. It's a trial run meant to test a fully customizable game based on the book series and dawn with the same name, The Keepers of Astraela. And providing I succeed at bringing the story to life on a battle map, the game will eventually grace my blog for readers to enjoy. Once my friends settle, I snag my notebook from under the table and stand. Public speaking is a familiar task in my line of work, but the curious stares of my companions make the nerves swirl faster in my chest. Welcome, dear travelers, to the land of Astralea. My voice comes out clearer and stronger than I expect as my instincts break through the sudden stage fright. For centuries, common folk have entrusted their protection to the Luxanima Guild, a league of warriors tasked by the king to rid the land of evil. Callie is already at work, hastily jotting down every word in her leather-bound journal. Oh, kind of loud. Bobby scoots to the edge of her chair with a proud smile that makes my lingering nerves dissipate. Since the dawn of civilization, necromancy has been considered the darkest form of magic. The guild has taken pride in executing camps of necromancers, leaving nothing but ash and screams on the wind, nothing usable for reanimation by others of their kind. Despite their efforts, a new foe has risen, a darkness unseen by man since the day heaven and hell were separated. While many believe this is the necromancer's plot to grasp the powers of hell and seek revenge on the guild, you do not. Even the sound of Callie's pencil scraping against paper stops at my words. I can hardly contain the excitement swelling inside my chest. You believe the only way to banish the darkness is by finding someone with the power to control it. You are traveling across the land in search of the pair of legends, Thana, a necromancer kissed by the Reaper's touch, with the power of death and resurrection at her fingertips, and her companion, Emrys, a phoenix risen from the ashes to help extinguish the dark plague. Only once your heroes are found, all around, flashing lights add to the ambiance, causing Callie and Bobby to sit up at attention. I pause, fingers gripping the edges of my notebook. We can still play without electricity, but the last thing I need to deal with is another outage. It's been an ongoing issue for far too long, ever since the storm that battered the town's park months before. Shaking my head, I glance back at my notes, but the ongoing flashes and beeps from various electronics keep me from continuing, until a series of loud, slow, robotic tones emanate from Bobby's back pocket. Eyes widening, she scrambles to grab her phone. Her jaw goes slack at the lit-up screen, and she jumps to her feet, expression wild with panic. What's wrong? Bobby shakes her head, sending a cascade of curls in every direction. It's my security system. The color drains from my face until I nearly match Callie's pale hue. I drop the notebook in my lap. For the coffee shop? Bobby nods, snatching her bag from the floor and slinging it over her shoulder. Someone's trying to break in. Well, let's think about this. What can I do? Someone is breaking into your shop. You know what? We're gonna be good. We're gonna be nice. We're nice. We're gonna go. Let's go see what's going on. We're gonna go with Bobby. Okay. As Bobby starts to retreat, I grab her arm. She turns back to me with reddening eyes. You shouldn't go alone. The police will be there, Eva. I'll be fine. I stare her down until she stops. Physical safety aside, I can't stand the thought of my friend facing something like this alone. Her life's work has gone into the coffee shop. If someone has broken in... Please. Bobby is silent for a moment, but finally nods. She turns to Callie, who has somehow gone even more pale. I can hold down the fort here. Just go. And text me what you find out, okay? With a quick nod, Bobby uses my hand on her arm to her advantage. Before I know it, she's dragged me to the door, car keys in hand, and we leave. I'm gonna stop it here. Well, let me save it first. Okay, we have 8 pages of saves. Wonderful, wonderful. So we're gonna stop it here. And we're gonna go back. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay. So we played through that. I would say that's like the first chapter, maybe. So we played through that. So far, it's kind of exciting. I kind of like the whole vibe that it's going. I'm not really too sure on all the characters yet. Jensen seems nice, but I really don't understand with the whole I ate a bad burrito. Let me get out of here. I don't understand all that. Maybe he was nervous. Maybe he was like, hey, this is too nerdy for me. Or I don't know. Bobby's cool. We like Bobby. Bobby's nice. Callie seems pretty cool. Eva seems pretty alright, you know. I got no complaints so far. I really do like the story, even though we haven't really gotten too much. I like the introduction of the characters, and I think I left it off on a good part because I'm excited to see what kind of happens, see who's breaking into Bobby's store, why Jensen left, and then the whole flickering of the lights while she was reading for her for their tabletop gaming. Lots of little stuff going on, so I'm excited. Definitely will pick this up in the next video, but for now I'm gonna end it there. Just be sure to, keep following, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the things. And yeah, but this was so far my part 1 of Keeprs of Astraela. Again, the game did come out yesterday. I'm going to post this, but the game came out on the 25th of September. But I'm just going to post my gameplay in different parts. And I'll probably end up just writing like an actual full review on my blog. Actually, I think I'll just do video. I've never actually done a gameplay review video, so I'm gonna do it in different parts, and then at the end I'll just talk about a little bit and review it and share some of my highlights and my pros and cons and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Yep, brainstorming. I got it. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. Also, I would love for more suggestions on games to play, games to review, and record and stream and things like that. I do have to finish my other game I was playing. It was like, I forgot what it was called, the one with the cat. I want to finish that. It's a puzzle game. And then I do have some other games I need to get back into. I did want to eventually start my Mega Man playthrough. And then I also wanted to try to get into Kingdom Hearts. I've been saying I wanted to get in Kingdom Hearts for like years now, and every time I try, I don't understand what the game is about. But I'm grown now. Maybe I'll get it, but I was grown when I started, so we'll see. But yeah, that's just be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye.